The iPhone 13 series is looking incredible, and I'll be sharing the details right after this. Today, we've got more news on the incredible specs of the iPhone 13 along with another reveal of the whole iPhone 13 series. Before we get started though, please like the video if you're an Apple fan, and let me know in the comments what country you're watching today's video from, and if you haven't already, then hit subscribe now so you don't miss a thing in the future. So the first story of the day is about the 100 times periscope lens discovered for the iPhone. A patent from Apple has been approved at showing off this new zoom lens, but to be 100% clear, this is not in the iPhone 13, and if anything, it may be considered for next year's iPhone. Next up, we have news on the A15 Bionic chipset powering the iPhone 13. WCCF Tech have reported that the A15 is going to have a similar CPU configuration to the predecessor, but of course there are going to be improvements on power and efficiency. While many expected a 4nm chipset, it's not going to be the case, but the chipset will be made on TSMC's N5P node. Now, put in simple terms, it's an enhanced version of the 5nm process that was used in last year's A14. The A15 is still going to be faster and more efficient than last year's chip, and as usual, it's likely going to be the best performing mobile system on chip available. Next up, we've got news that Apple is boosting iPhone 13 production to 90 million units by the end of the year. The previous iPhone produced 75 million, which means that they're making 20% more iPhone 13s, and this is in anticipation of better sales. The report came from Bloomberg, and it also confirmed many of the details we already knew, but more specifically, it backs up what I told you in a previous video, that there's not going to be an in-display fingerprint scanner on the iPhone 14, and in fact, it won't have Touch ID at all. It's a little bit disappointing, but Apple have given so much praise to their Face ID, it seems that they just don't want to go back on that. It also confirms a smaller notch, and for those of you still put off by the notch, according to the Bloomberg report, Apple are working to remove it, but even on next year's iPhones, they're still going to have a notch. Next up, we've got the models of the whole iPhone 13 series that appeared on Weibo, and while they are just examples of size and don't look great, they give us a good idea on what we can expect from the whole series. Thankfully, we have the iPhone 13 models also revealed in a much more aesthetically pleasing video by Mac Rumors. They've got their hands on all of the iPhone 13 models, and they also look a lot closer to the final product. It not only gives us an idea of what size they're going to be, as well as being compared to the predecessor, but it also shows us how the phone is going to look. The only thing I would say about this video from Mac Rumors, however, is that the notch is still wrong. The final iPhone 13 has a thinner notch that does look a lot better than this, especially when it comes to the call speaker. But overall, the iPhone 13 is going to be an incredible device, and that's why Apple are anticipating higher sales this year. It's the iPhone that I wanted to see last year, and it has everything I wanted, with the exception of an in-display fingerprint scanner. For those of you that are excited for the Apple iPhone 13, we're now going to run through the specs, design, and the expected pricing of the whole of the iPhone 13 series to help you guys decide if this is going to be worth the wait. For my regular viewers, you guys have already seen this, so just skip on to the next video, but if you're new here, then hit subscribe now and we'll get right into it. So first up, we've got the iPhone 13 mini. With the iPhone 13 mini, we get a 5.4-inch OLED display. It's expected to have a 2340 by 1080 resolution, and this gives us 465 pixels per inch, but it's only going to be a 60Hz display. On the front, we get a notch that's going to house the selfie camera and Face ID, and on the back, we get a dual camera setup with a wide and an ultra-wide camera. It will of course be powered up by the new A15 Bionic, and it's expected to come with 4GB of RAM and a choice of 64, 128 or 256 storage. It's coming with a 2406 mAh battery with at least 20-watt fast charge, and it will support wireless charging. We get Bluetooth, 5G and Wi-Fi 6, and the phone is of course going to ship with iOS 15. I'm expecting the iPhone 13 mini to start from around $700, but I'll update the price as soon as we get an accurate leak. Next up, we get the standard iPhone 13. With the iPhone 13, we get a 6.1-inch OLED display. It's expected to have a 2532 by 1170 resolution, and this gives us 460 pixels per inch, but again, it's only a 60Hz display. On the front, we get a notch to house the selfie camera and the Face ID, and on the back, we've got a dual camera setup with a wide and an ultra-wide camera. It will of course be powered by the new A15 Bionic, and we get 4GB of RAM and a choice of 64, 128 128 or 256 storage. It's coming with a 3095 mAh battery with at least 20-watt fast charging, and again it does support wireless charging. We get Bluetooth, 5G and Wi-Fi 6, and the phone is going to ship with iOS 15. I'm expecting the iPhone 13 to start from $800, but again I'll update the prices as soon as we get an accurate leak. Next up, we've got the iPhone 13 Pro. With the iPhone 13 Pro, we get a 6.1-inch OLED display, but this time it's got a 2532 by 1170 resolution, which gives us 460 pixels per inch, but on the iPhone 13 Pro, it's going to be a 120Hz LTPO display. On the front, we get a notch to house the selfie camera and the Face ID, and on the back, we get a triple camera setup as well as a LiDAR scanner. The configuration is going to be made up of a wide angle, an ultra wide, and a telephoto camera. It will of course be powered by the A15 Bionic, and it's expected to come with 6 gigs of RAM and a choice of 128, 256, 512 and even 1 terabyte storage. It's coming with a 3095 mAh battery with at least 20-watt fast charge, and wireless charging is supported. We get Bluetooth, 5G, Wi-Fi 6, and it's of course going to ship with iOS 15. I'm expecting the iPhone 13 Pro to start from around $1,050, but again this is just an estimate. Finally, we have the iPhone 13 Pro Max. With the iPhone 13 Pro Max, we get a 6.7-inch OLED display. It's expected to have 2778 by 1128 resolution, and this gives us 458 pixels per inch. Now again, this is going to be a 120Hz LTPO display. On the front, we get the notch with selfie camera and Face ID, and on the back, we get a triple camera setup plus the LiDAR scanner. The configuration is going to be made up of a wide, an ultra wide, and a telephoto camera. Like the Pro, it's coming with the A15 Bionic. It's expected to come with 6 gigs of RAM and a choice of 128, 256, 512 or 1 terabyte storage. It's coming with a 4352 mAh battery, and again we expect at least 20-watt fast charge as well as wireless charging. We get Bluetooth, 5G, Wi-Fi 6, and the phone ships with iOS 15. Now this is the most premium, and we're expecting the iPhone 13 Pro Max to start from around $1,150, but again I'll confirm this as soon as we get a leak. So it's great that we've got so much information on the iPhone 13 series, and with launch in September it's not too long until the official reveal from Apple. Thankfully there is expected to be plenty of stock for the iPhones, and Apple are reportedly not going to be affected by the chip shortage that is causing so many other companies problems. Now of course, as always, I'd like to know your thoughts in the comments. Who out there is excited for the Apple iPhone 13, and what model are you waiting for? But thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, smash a thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down twice, and I'll see you guys in the next one.